On our planet, most cities look like one another, filled with regular buildings or common houses. However, there are some truly unique cities that catch attention for completely bizarre reasons. For example, this busy avenue where women tend to walk around as if they had just rolled out of bed, or a place isolated from the world where all residents need to wear gas masks to survive. And that is exactly what we are going to see here today. One of the strangest cities on the planet is definitely Huacachina, a secret oasis located in the province of Ica in Peru. Surrounded by desert with the highest dunes in South America, it is hard to imagine that a city exists in that place. You could pass very close to it without ever noticing its presence. After all, Huacachina has only 100 inhabitants. However, it receives dozens of tourists every day, who, besides enjoying the scenic landscape, can have fun surfing the immense dunes, with the tourist services offered by the residents. A curious fact about this secret oasis is that it once appeared on the $50 bill of the country. Much mystery surrounds the city of Huacachina. In fact, there is a legend that the lake was created by a native princess after being imprisoned by a hunter while she was bathing. She fled, leaving the pool in which she bathed to become a lagoon, where she supposedly still lives as a mermaid. Coober Pedy, a city in Australia that may seem normal at first glance, hides the reason it is one of the strangest places in the world under your feet. Literally. The 1,500 inhabitants of what is known as the opal capital of the world live their lives underground, in houses carved into the rock to escape the desert heat and cold, which can vary from 45 degrees to 0 degrees Celsius. Inside the underground houses and hotels, the temperature stabilizes at 22 degrees, requiring no air conditioning or heaters. Life in Coober Pedy is quite strange. Children return from school, do their homework, and then help dig new rooms in their homes. Many families have stories of finding valuable opals during these excavations. One hotel, for example, discovered opal shells when expanding its rooms, earning almost $1,500,000. The city is also known for its lack of construction rules, which has already resulted in accidental excavations into neighbors' houses. In addition, the landscape is marked by millions of mining holes, which can be as deep as 30 meters. Furthermore, there are rumors that some of these holes hide macabre secrets of people who were forgotten and never managed to return to the surface, adding to the mystery surrounding the city. Can you imagine taking a stroll around the entire city, going to the supermarket, stopping by a snack bar, and then returning home without ever leaving your building? It seems impossible, but this happens in a bizarre city called Whittier. In the south of Alaska, in the United States, there is a city surrounded by mountains and a frozen ocean. But what truly makes this city special is the fact that it is entirely inside a single building. With a population that lives practically under the same roof, Whittier is one of the most isolated cities of all. Residents rarely need to leave the building, making daily life very different from the rest of the world. This huge building, which used to be a military base, has everything you would need in a conventional city: supermarket, post office, school, registry office, and much more. Everything within the reach of an elevator. Children go to school without needing to leave the house, using an underground tunnel protected from the snowstorms that often plague the region. It is a practical life, but also with certain problems, especially during winter, when residents could not leave the building even if they wanted. Because it is such a unique city, Whittier ends up attracting thousands of tourists. Sometimes, some become enchanted and decide to stay, but most say they could not live under these conditions. Hallstatt, a charming Austrian city and UNESCO World Heritage Site, is known for its stunning landscapes and historic architecture. Located between mountains and a beautiful lake, this small city is a popular destination for tourists from all over the world. But we will not talk about it today. Instead, we are going to talk about its copy in China. That is right, the Chinese are already famous for copying products, mainly electronics, but this time they managed to replicate an entire city. Located in Huizhou, Hallstatt 2 is a luxury condominium, with an appearance copied stone by stone from the famous Austrian city. The Chinese replica includes the iconic parish church, a fountain, and several other historical elements of Austria. The work was carried out by China Minmetals, a corporate conglomerate specialized in steel mining. The idea of copying Hallstatt emerged without the Austrians' knowledge. The mayor of the original city, Alexander Scheutz, was surprised to discover the project, but decided to see the positive side. Although most Europeans condemn the replica, he attended its public inauguration in 2012, hoping that the copy would increase the tourist interest in the real Hallstatt. The worst part is that this is not the only European city that the Chinese have copied. They also already have their own versions of historic French and Italian monuments. A few years from now, they might have even copied some city from Brazil. For now, they have limited themselves to the Christ the Redeemer. In Longyearbyen, it is forbidden to die, and nights can last for months. Located in the Svalbard archipelago in Norway, and known for being the northernmost settlement in the world, with only 2,000 inhabitants, this city is certainly one of the strangest that exist. For half of the year, Longyearbyen experiences the polar night, where the sun does not appear on the horizon from October to February. In the other half, the midnight sun shines non-stop from April to August. This bizarre alternation between light and darkness leaves the city with a very cold climate. Temperatures can reach below 40 degrees negative. What makes Longyearbyen even more curious is the law that forbids burying bodies in the city. That is because the frozen ground prevents decomposition of the bodies, which could attract predators and spread diseases. Therefore, the terminally ill are transferred to the Norwegian mainland to spend their final days. The city is also known for being a center of scientific research, with the University Center in Svalbard attracting researchers and students from all over the world to study the unique climate and ecosystem of the Arctic. In addition, Longyearbyen has a coal mine that is still an important source of employment and livelihood for the population. That is, of course, if they can endure the cold. Imagine a city where for each living inhabitant there are about 1,000 dead. It seems hard to believe, but a sinister place like this really exists over in California in the United States. Colma is a city populated by approximately 1,500 residents, but it has more than 1,500,000 dead, spread across several cemeteries. Thanks to this, it earned the nickname City of the Silent. Founded as a necropolis in 1924, the bizarre history of Colma began at the beginning of the 20th century, when San Francisco prohibited new burials and transferred its cemeteries there. This transformed the city into a huge open-air graveyard, with bodies being transported by streetcars. By 1941, about 150,000 bodies had been taken to Colma, some even reburied in collective graves. Today, with 17 cemeteries spread across the city, Colma is the final resting place of many famous Americans. Although it is best known for its dead, the city also has shopping centers and is an important hub of the automotive industry. Even though its population of the living is small, the city's economy does not stop growing. Over in the south of Spain, in the province of Cádiz, there is one of the most incredible and at the same time strangest cities in the world. Setenil de las Bodegas is a small city with about 3,000 inhabitants, yet it welcomes thousands of tourists annually because of its famous view, filled with houses built directly into the rock formations along the Guadalporcún River. These houses, which seem to emerge from the stones, give the city a surreal appearance, looking almost like montages. The rocks, besides providing natural protection with refreshing shade, also serve as protection during Christian invasions against the Moors for centuries. The city began as a fortified Moorish settlement. It is believed that the area was already occupied during the Roman invasion in the 1st century after Christ. The name Setenil is said to originate from the Latin expression septem nihil, which means 7 times nothing, referring to the Moors' resistance to Christian onslaughts. The city was only conquered by the Christians in 1484, after 7 attempts with the help of gunpowder artillery. In addition to the fascinating architecture and landscape offered by the rocks mingling with the constructions, the city also attracts agricultural tourists interested in its famous olives and almonds. It may sound like a bad joke or a place straight out of a horror movie, but believe it, in the United States there is a city called Hell. In fact, the name of the city in English is Hell. Located in the state of Michigan, this small community with only a few dozen inhabitants is one of the most bizarre destinations on the planet. Founded in the mid-1830s by George Reeves, Hell began as a simple mill and distillery. Reeves, a clandestine entrepreneur, built his distillery to turn grain into whiskey at a time when alcohol was prohibited in the country. He hid the whiskey in barrels, when inspectors came to check. He also ran a bar with entertainment for residents of neighboring towns. At the time, Hell was not yet a city, but a distant mill where husbands would slip away from their wives. The origin of the name Hell is as mysterious as the place itself. There are stories of German travelers who found the place so schön hell, which means so beautiful and bright. Others believe the name came from the difficult environmental conditions, with mosquitoes and dense forests. Another version suggests the name arose when people asked the wives of the missing men where they had gotten to. Today, Hell attracts curious visitors, and especially collectors, looking for souvenirs with the city's name. During winter, the city even gains an ironic twist when it faces below zero temperatures. One would expect Hell to be a hotter place, right? Recently, the city of Seattle, in the United States, began to gain fame on the internet for a very strange reason. The large city where more than 1 million people live, previously known for giving origin to famous bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam, as well as being the headquarters of the Starbucks franchise and the starting point of Microsoft, seems to have a strange avenue called Aurora, where women appear wearing somewhat strange outfits. It is hard to imagine why so many beautiful girls would be dressed in a similar way. If it were just one or two, it might be a coincidence, where distracted women left home still in their pajamas to go to the supermarket or something like that. But this phenomenon occurs every day, with several girls along Aurora Avenue. With each new video posted on the internet, the mystery only grows, with people all over the world wondering what might be happening in Seattle. Can you imagine a society, or rather a city, where there is no money, no politicians, nor any religion, where there is no discrimination based on gender, social class, or ethnicity? Perhaps when John Lennon composed his famous Imagine, asking listeners to imagine such a world, he was talking about Auroville, the city of dawn located in the south of India. Founded in 1968 by Mira Alfassa, Auroville was born just 3 years before the famous song by the Beatles' vocalist. It still exists today as a utopian experiment, bringing together people from all over the world to live in a bubble isolated from our civilization. Instead of organizing itself around economic, political, or religious barriers, as happens in the rest of India and many other parts of the world, Auroville values a simple and collaborative lifestyle. There is no money in the traditional sense. Instead, residents exchange services and work together to keep the community running. The city is also famous for its spiritual center, the Matrimandar. This futuristic temple, with its golden dome in a spherical shape, took 37 years to be completed. Inside, a meditation room houses the largest glass globe on the planet. With about 2,500 inhabitants from 35 different countries, Auroville is transforming a desert area into a green space. Its model of alternative living attracts curious people from all over the planet in search of a new way of living in harmony, far from society's traditional rules. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.